Hi guys, so this is a tour of the gradebook and some of the things that it can do. I'm not going to focus on how to create an assignment in this particular part of this lesson. You'll see how to do that a bit later. I'm also not going to focus on how to set up grades here either. You'll see that in a later lesson as well. This is more of just kind of showing you where things are and how to get to things. And so if you look in the upper left corner, this is where your classes are going to be. In the future, you can change back to older classes from last year if you want to maybe see what assignments you did during a particular term. You could do that. But right now, you would just have current classes as new teachers. You just change classes by clicking. And on the score sheet, working left to right score sheet, this will have the student's name, which I have obscured because this is a video. It tells you their overall grade, and it gives you the assignments and the grade that they've made on each assignment. This happens to be the easiest place to add an assignment, but we'll talk about that more at a later time. You can then also click on assignments, which just gives you a list of assignments and tells you what the weight is without having to double click on it. Although I'm pretty sure you can see, yeah, you can see the weight by coming here as well. You can get quick student info by seeing their name and phone number to call a parent. This is the fastest way. You can also get to it through PowerSchool as well, which we'll talk about when we get to the PowerSchool section. Grade setup, we're going to talk about this quite a bit later, so I'm just going to kind of breeze by this. Class content, you're never really going to mess with. Reports has some useful things in it. Let's say you need a way to keep track of if somebody turned something in. If you come to attendance grid and you mark no dates, you can then determine how many boxes that you want. I want to go more than 10 or 15 because then it makes it really small. And then you can create a report that will have the student's name, and then you can fill in the information. We typically don't print that off for attendance. You'll do it in PowerSchool, and I'll show you how to do that in a later lesson. Another useful one, if you're meeting with parents, is an individual student report. That'll show them exactly what the student has done and not done, as the case may be. And you can also print off a student roster here to give to a substitute teacher. And we'll talk to you more about subfolders and that kind of thing in the beginning of the year meetings. Additionally, over on the left, if you'll click on the plus sign, you can do a couple of things. You can create a group within a class, which can be useful for differentiation purposes. But the most useful part is email. If you click on email, it'll give you a list of all the students in your class, and you can decide whether or not to send the email to an individual student or to the entire class or to students and their parents. This is the best way for high school teachers in particular to email their parents and students. Middle school, we have a listserv set up where you can just email straight to the listserv, but this is the best way to get in contact with parents and students if you're a high school teacher. Also down here, you have the categories, which you'll be creating a little bit later in this particular lesson, plus to add it and name it, etc. And then moving across the top, file, there's not anything there that you're going to mess with. Edit, nothing useful. View basically does everything that I just went through, but it also allows you to zoom in if you need to make it a bit larger, which to be honest is kind of small font. For tools, the things that you'll most likely use here, this is another way to email parents. You can also go to preferences, which will allow you to change how the students get their grade. If you want, for instance, an 80.56, you would choose 2 decimal places. Most of our teachers don't, but the math teachers tend to use that function. Mail, you can put in your signature if you would like to here. Score codes. I add this one because at our school, missing is a 0 until the student turns it in. And so to make my life easier to remember what it is, I created a code MIS, which is description missing and then a 0. You can any way that you want to do that. Like for instance, if you have an assignment that as long as they turn it in, they get a certain number of points, that kind of thing. You can do that here. Section, this just kind of, this isn't really useful for you unless you want to change the custom name. Spell check isn't really going to come up for you very much. Standards, to be honest, I haven't really used this. If you're interested in it, feel free to track me down and we'll look into it together. And then student just kind of determines how you want it to be in your grade book. I find last first the easiest because that tends to be how I try to find students. But you can change that here if you are interested in doing that. Attendance, we don't take attendance in the grade book. We do that actually in PowerSchool on their website, so you'll never need this. And then window and help. Notifications tend to be when a student is dropped or if there's a birthday. And that's pretty much an overview of what you'll see in the gradebook. Again, we'll do adding weights and adding categories and adding an assignment a little bit later. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and I will be, or track me down, and I will be happy to help you in any way that I can. Thanks. Bye.